you agree that all three of us, we share all the same evidence?
Uh,
Well, yeah, I think
I
Because
guess.
evidence doesn't speak for itself,
theoretically
correct?
we all share the same evidence. The question is who is privy to what amount of evidence, right? So, like, the amount of evidence for biology that I'm privy to is different than Planet Peterson. He's going to be way ahead of me. The amount of evidence, say, if we're looking at, like, I don't know, electricity, I think I might have an advantage there. So, like, I think it depends on what field you're in.
But you would agree that all of us share the same evidence because they're some people might say, like you guys might say, well, give me evidence for fine tuning. Well, it's not like I have any magical evidence. What I'm saying is we look at the exact same things and we come to different conclusions. Does
Right.
that make
Okay.
sense?
So let me ask you a question about that, because I think this will help sort things out. Okay.
Does that make
So
sense though?
kind of, because again, I don't think everyone has the same evidence. I think everyone is working with a different set of evidence. So, anyways, my question is: the Earth that we live on, do you believe that was finely tuned?
Based on what I can observe, it seems like potentially yes.
Was it finely tuned for life?
It seems like it. Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain why 100,000 people a year are killed in natural disasters?
Well, that doesn't negate the fact that life is still possible.
I didn't say if it was possible. I said finely tuned. See, because in my
Well, finely tuned for
worldview,
life or happiness? Those are
for
two different
life,
things.
for life,
Your second part of your argument was about unhappiness and
it
suffering.
wasn't about unhappiness at all. It's about life. You don't have life when you're dead.
So are you saying life should be eternal?
What I'm suggesting is that if babies are dying in earthquakes, that's not finely tuned for life, unless you think it is.
If
Well,
I
but
mean,
you're
if
putting
life
two
didn't
things together. You're
reproduce,
putting two things.
if life didn't reproduce, which it doesn't have to, but if it didn't do that, then life would almost certainly have been rendered extinct on our planet a long time ago. So that's life can exist in perpetuity on Earth, but it's barely able to cling to an existence on the planet. That's
Right.
kind of the
And
point Justin's making.
right. And we're living on this planet not because it's finely tuned for life. We're living despite the hurdles in front of us to live. It's quite the opposite. Like we're living against the odds. Like every day we have to get up and survive. Whereas if it
I
was
would
finely
say
tuned,
that if the Earth or humans were finely tuned, I wouldn't have a job.
that's right. Yeah, your doctors wouldn't need to exist, right? So like, the idea that children can be born with bone cancer and that women would die in childbirth. In fact, for part of history, the death rate of children in childbirth was as high as like 30 or 40% in some countries. To me, this doesn't sound like fine tuning. It sounds like chaos.
Well, okay. What I'm trying to say is there's two different things. There's either life being the ability for living living organisms. So there's the physical side of it, and then there's the experiential side of it. That's what I'm trying to. When you were asking me the questions, I was just referring to the physical side of life, actually just the ability to be alive.
So did God finely tune life for misery? Because that's what happens when you're born with bone cancer.
Well, cancer, that's a whole other, I mean, that's a whole other side issue. I don't believe God causes cancer. I believe it's the result of pollution and all sorts of
Well,
man-made problems.
that would be wrong. Cancer existed for many thousands of years, and even dinosaurs have been discovered with bone cancer.
Do you have some fossils for that?
Yeah, we've got two dinosaur fossils with bone cancer. Have you not heard of this before?
I've heard of it. I haven't looked much into it. It still
Okay.
doesn't negate the fact that a lot of the cancers we observe
But
today is man-made.
you are aware it's not man-made. That's a lie.
It
Well,
is not
It's com-
cancer is not man-made.
no,
We understand the process at which cells become cancer. Again, you have specific genes in the body, like for example the proto-onco gene and the tumor suppressor genes, etc. That modulate the division of cells. When they mutate in the same way that any other gene mutates, then you have problems which could lead to uncontrolled cell division, which is a cancer. This has nothing to do with man-made or not. Man-made carcinogens can lead to mutations or exaggerating the rate of mutations in the human body to lead to cancer. But the main process that happens could happen literally in the womb. You could be born literally with cancer, even if you're
Right.
perfectly living outside of all human pollutions.
The sun gives you cancer if you're in the sun too long. Do you think that's fine tuned?
Why do people who live by the equator, their skin's perfectly fine?
No, they
Well,
get skin cancer too.
It's not perfectly fine. The rate of cancer is less because they have more melanin.
Yeah, exactly.
But they still get skin cancer though from the sun.
That would take
That-
a little
that-
bit of a deeper
that-
dive I haven't looked into.
Yeah, that's a
What I mean.
misconception. Yeah, people with dark skin still get skin cancer.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that further. I don't
They
have
do.
a ton of information on that.
I mean, Ems is a medical doctor in a country
They
that
do,
has
it's
people with
just,
dark skin.
The reason that it's less likely for them to get skin cancer is again because of melanin, which is protecting them from the ultraviolet radiation, which is by itself radiation that causes mutations in the body. So, in the same way that I told you previously that the main mechanism that causes cancer to be produced is the same, but the way you get to this mechanism is different. And some stuff can exaggerate this mechanism and cause it to happen more rapidly, like carcinogens, which could be natural or man-made. In this case, we have a natural carcinogen, in this case, quote-unquote carcinogen, which we could consider the ultraviolet radiation from the sun to be. And when that hits your skin, if you do not have the adequate protection like melanin in your skin, it is more likely to cause mutations which lead to cancer.
Right. Now, according to an article from Dartmouth, from their medical school, 1 to 2% of all cancer cases among African American or people with dark skin is in fact skin cancer. So it certainly is present.
There's
So would the world be better tuned if the sun never gave anyone skin cancer?
well, you wouldn't like my answer. Wait, before that question, I would say there's more science coming out that sunscreen's causing skin cancer too. But sorry, that's a side note, not to your most recent question.
So again, they were getting cancer before sunscreen existed. It's a dumb argument. So would it be better if the sun didn't give anyone cancer?
Well, but doesn't melanin
Crazy that he can't answer a yes or no question. Would it be better if the sun didn't give anyone cancer?
Sure.
Okay. So would it be more conducive to life if people didn't get sun cancer?
In theory, yeah.
Okay. Which means the sun seems to not be finely tuned for life. Unless you think that God wanted the sun to kill a percentage of people through skin cancer.
Programmed
Which is a really-
obsolescence. That's
Exactly.
wild.
That's a really strange program for somebody that's perfectly loving.
The majority of people don't die from skin cancer.
I never
Who
said
live
they
by the
did.
equator.
Never said they did. I said that 1 to 2% of them with cancer are going to have skin cancer, and it would be better if the sun didn't give anybody cancer. The fact that they live on the equator is a completely useless talking point. It doesn't mean anything to me because we're talking about the planet, and guess what? Not everyone in the planet can just move to the equator.
Yeah. And the fact that it happens when it doesn't need to happen. If you were God, you could easily make it so that it doesn't happen. But you're claiming that we are perfectly designed or finely tuned, or that the Earth or that the universe itself is finely tuned for us, and yet it allows these things to happen to us. Just shows you the flaw in your logic. Because
Right.
why would that happen if it's finely tuned?
I'm not a skin cancer expert.
You don't have to be. It's just a logical problem. If God finally tuned the habitat we live in, why would he create it so that the sun is giving people cancer, especially when we need the sun?
What I'm trying to say, the majority of people don't get skin
I
cancer just from sun
don't care.
exposure.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares what the percentage is. It should be 0% if it was finely tuned. I design machines for a living. If my machine only hurts one person ever, I'm in trouble because it's a bad design. A good design is a machine that injures 0 people. Nobody should ever get hurt on one of my machines.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fine tuning. So if God is fine tuning and he's all knowing, all loving, all powerful, then he shouldn't have created a habitat for us that inflicts harm needlessly upon us.
That's a fair point.
Right? So it's the fine tuning argument always fails once you get down to specifics. But anyways, listen, we've been up here for about 45 minutes, so I think it's time to move on to the next guest. But thanks for coming up talking to us and for being polite.